All right. So we decided to do a thing and go live to answer the questions for our AMA.
Ain't nobody even on yet.
What? I'm just saying is all because it's going to be recorded.
I mean, yeah.
So, don't you think that makes sense?
Just give them a chance.
Hi, Tamara. Thanks for joining. We decided to go ahead and do our AMA live instead of recording it. So, never did a live before here on IG. I know we're old farts, but we'll get to it.
Wait, can you hear us first? That's the first question.
Yes, please let us know if you can hear us. Please put something in the comments.
That comes late.
Yeah, that light is good.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I think so.
It's high up in here.
I'm sure. Yes.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you. Alrighty. So, we have received quite a few questions, and we thought it'd be a great idea to come and answer them live. And that way you guys can kind of see us in real time as we give our feedback on some of these key questions and just kind of iterate. Probably should turn that off. Just like that. So you guys can kind of see us in real life and in motion here. So thanks to everyone who's joining. This will be recorded and on our IGTV, and we'll download it also and put on our YouTube channel. So for those who couldn't join. So as always, I'm Yunchi.
I'm Tim.
And we're the Wonderlust family.
They recorded that one.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you following our channel.
Awesome.
So, in the interest of time and you guys' time, because we appreciate you guys, we'll go ahead and get started with the first question that we received. We'll start with this one because this one we need to actually look up the data and I want to be able to share it accurately.
Okay.
What is life like for your children in Portugal? I am a single mother of two, and I think Portugal would be a great choice for us, but it's scary to think of leaving life in the U.S. to start a new life. So it's kind of a multi-layered question, I think, because doing anything new is really scary, right? Especially when you've lived in one place your entire life. Making the choice to move abroad with little ones is very, very difficult. I mean, I think that when we first did it, when we went to Thailand, we were talking to some friends recently about this story. We went from Houston, Texas to south of Thailand in Hua Hin, not Bangkok, not Chiang Mai. We just were tired. We were sick enough where we just said, okay, let's just go and do it. And as scary as it was leaving our family and all of the comfortability that we had in the States behind, it was scarier thinking about continuing our life there. What would life be like for our children if we stayed? How, dealing with the possibility of, school shootings. I was very uncomfortable with that. That is not a norm that I wanted for our kids. And Tim was definitely in agreement with me there. On the other end of it, being people of color, we have a unique experience compared to others, and we were not comfortable with that other. We didn't want to continue being an other. So there was a multi-layered reasons why we chose to leave, and those reasons motivated us enough to say, as scary as it is to leave, we need to go. So we did.
Right.
And I think you've got to find the thing that motivates you the most to leave. What is your factor? What's that thing that really pushes you to leave?
So to answer the part of what is life like for our children love it, and obviously it started with traveling abroad between Thailand and Mexico and most of Asia. So, but coming here, they loved it. They love the food. They love the weather.
Beach life. They love the beach life.
Yeah, we lived on the beach for about a year, so they love that as well. And they just started school, so they meet new friends now. Their friends are teaching them Portuguese as well. So they tell us they love it at least.
They do, right.
At least that's what they tell us. So as far as we know,
They really do love it. I mean, and it's very, because Portugal is so safe, it provides peace of mind for us as parents.
Right.
Simple things that you would never consider doing in other places, like I know one day Jordan was like exhausted. She was really, really tired, and we were running in the store really quick just to get some bottles of water. And she was like, "Can I just stay in the car?" I mean, she's 10 years old, and it's a small little store. It's not that, it's not like a big commercial store. In the States, I would never, ever let her stay in the car. She is with me on my hip everywhere we go. He's rolling his eyes, but it's true. I would never do that. I don't trust people. But here, it's a very different kind of dynamic. People care about children in a different way. The way they love on them, the way they kind of look after them. Even they don't have to know you. It's just the culture. So it's very comforting for me as a mom, I will say.
Yeah.
Next question. How do you earn an income while traveling / living abroad? I feel like this is the most popular question. We've been getting it since we started traveling back in 2018.
Yeah.
It was the first question, was like, how are you going to support yourself? I'll be very honest.
So, hold on, let me answer my half first.
Okay.
This is much easier.
Okay, while you do that, I'll look up the data.
Okay, so, well, it ain't gonna take that long.
Well, go
but
ahead.
for me, I'm a day trader, so I trade stock options, and now have recently been in crypto as well. So that's Bitcoin, that's Ethereum, that's even some of the altcoins as well. So and that has been very profitable. But for the most part, I'm strictly a day trader. So that can be done anywhere, and it's a lot easier here than it was in Thailand, because then that means in Thailand I had to be up at midnight almost just to start. So at least here, my day starts at 2:30, and from about 2:30 to maybe 4, maybe 5 o'clock. So that's pretty easy. Hers it's simple, but it's not as easy as mine.
Not as easy, no. I mean, I've owned my own business now for about 7 years, maybe a little bit longer, actually, because I've always kind of done consulting work even when I was in corporate America. So I have always had my business for the most part on upwork.com. And I once Aria was born in 2013, not long after 2014, 2015, I got onto the platform. And I focused on really building up my business that way. If you're not familiar with Upwork, Upwork is a freelancing platform that connects you with other businesses that need specific talent. That can be web design, that can be graphic design, that could be writing, that could be consulting, accounting. It runs the gamut of things. So Upwork has grown tremendously over the last 5 years or so. And I'm a top rated freelancer. I've made over $400,000 on the platform since the time that I've been on it. You silly. And so with being a top rated freelancer, I've been able to kind of unlock other privileges of gaining access to some like enterprise accounts and things like that. So because of Upwork, I've been able to work as a marketing strategist for companies like Indeed, Hitachi, and things of that nature. So that is how we have made money as we lived abroad. Remote work has always kind of been the thing that we did. And we continue to do, even as we've lived in Portugal the last year. There's no place that I go into. My clients are still overseas. I am 5 hours ahead of EST. So I simply modify my hours to adjust to that. And that is how we make our living, and we just live below our means. That's it.
Right. So doing so gives us the opportunity to have investments,
Yeah.
savings accounts and Vanguards,
Right.
retirement. So.
Yeah, invest for the kids as well. They have their own.
Right.
Yeah, so it's those kind of things were really important to us and factored into us moving to Portugal so that we could balance out, have a more balanced lifestyle where we could live comfortably on a consistent basis while also continuing to save and invest. And that's what living in Portugal has allowed us to do. I'm going to go back up really quick to the question that we didn't get a chance to get to at first. Question being, do you think it is getting too crowded with expats in Portugal? So there are about 10 million. Total population in Portugal is about 10 million people. Out of that, more than 900,000 expats live in Portugal. So I wouldn't say it's too many. I think it depends on where you're located. So a great example is if you go further south to the Algarve, tons of expats, huge retirement community. It is always tourist haven down there, of course, pre-pandemic. So that's something to consider. If you're going more rural, like Silver Coast in some places, or more central, you're not going to get as many expats. They're typically going to be in the more metropolitan cities because of the fact that English is spoken there or other languages are spoken there. So, and remember, of course, expats doesn't just mean American. It's a part of the EU. So you're going to get, expats from, while they are EU citizens, they are, living in Portugal. They may be from the UK, they may be from France, or, as far as Australia. So expats is quite large when you think of that.
So the answer to that is no. And in Europe, especially, other Europeans have been coming here. This is their spot. So I don't know if this person's American or not, but or a U.S. citizen. Let me say. So as far as U.S. citizens coming over, that's kind of been more of a boom lately.
Yeah.
But as far as it being crowded, no, it's an entire country. So, but yeah, when you're dealing with Lisbon, Algarve, maybe like the Cascais area, then those are your typical expat areas because everybody pretty much speaks English. Let me not say that. I'll say more English speakers there, more multi-language speakers there.
For sure, right.
So you can be at a restaurant and the waiter speaks 6 different languages.
Absolutely, and that's common. Like that makes me feel like I am behind on
the
ball. I've got to learn more languages. The second part of the question being, will the boom of interest drive up cost of living? Again, that kind of varies. Because the type of house that I can get in central Portugal, let's say 250,000, 4-bedroom home, with land, that same cost of if I try to do that in Lisbon, I am getting a condo, right? I'm not getting a house with land. That's not going to happen in Lisbon. Right. So it really does vary on where you're located. Now, I will say that the boom of interest during COVID, because pretty much the whole world went remote and was able to actually work anywhere they want. People who lived in countries with higher cost of living were able to move to places like Portugal. So their dollar or their euro went much further being here. So people bought houses cash like crazy. So there was a period of time where the cost of housing has gone up drastically from what people saw just 3 or 5 years ago. So boom of interest, I say, will vary depending on what we see happen with COVID. I think as things continue, so stay tuned, definitely keep reading, do your Googles, as my husband will say.
And to answer this person, that was a really quick one. Are expats welcomed in Portugal? Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
Especially if you're, in the more populated areas. If you're in the more rural, I hate saying that word. Rural areas. You're welcome. It's just you have to understand that these people are, they're the older generation, more old school. So it could be a little different, especially if you look foreign. Then they're just kind of staring at you a little bit, just like, oh, okay. What are you?
Right.
And sometimes they have, a little bit of old school thinking sometimes, but it's not uncomfortable. It's not like
our experience hasn't been
uncomfortability. Exactly. Yeah. So it's in the cost of living is much cheaper. So
right.
No one cares. No one really cares.
All right. So next question being, what are some of your favorite things to do in Portugal? This has varied because of COVID. Yeah. Unfortunately, when we first arrived, one of the first trips we planned was to the Algarve. and that was amazing. That was the release we needed because we'd done so much to get to Portugal, and we were in the US for like 3 weeks doing paperwork and FBI background checks and just all of this crap, and we were done, like over it. And so the beach is definitely something we've done a lot. Yeah. Open air, 6 feet distancing away from people.
Tours are really great.
Yeah.
Because Portugal is one of the oldest countries in Europe. So the tours here, the historic sites here are phenomenal. Pretty amazing, man. Yeah. You have castles from the 16th century here. Everywhere though.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, we got one right outside our window.
So there's plenty to do here outside of wine tours, right? Mm-hmm. Like, because Portugal is very, very, very well known for their wine here.
Love their wine.
And so cheap. And I didn't really drink wine until coming here. So
I stopped drinking altogether until I came here.
But the tours here, the beaches here are amazing. If you get a chance to go, go to Nazaré. Everybody likes to go to Algarve, Cascais beaches, but Nazaré have some of the biggest waves in the world. Mm-hmm. And people come from all over the world to watch these people surf.
Yeah, especially in October.
And that's when it gets really big, and that's when it's a whole thing. Yeah. So Nazaré beaches are really nice as well. So I would say that. And I think I was telling Yoshi not too long ago that one thing that's highly underrated is simply driving through the country, mm-hmm. because the countryside here is so beautiful, and farmland is so much more accessible here than it is in the States. You're going down some of the major highways, and you're looking at apple orchards and mm-hmm. Wine, vineyards and olive trees everywhere. Mm-hmm. Like it's right here. It's not somewhere off in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Gated off or something like that on the farm. It's all easily accessible, just for viewing.
Right. That's true. We spent a lot of time driving throughout Portugal, just looking at the countryside and how the landscape integrates just with the ocean and just everything in between. In sightseeing, just general sightseeing, especially when kind of things were locked down and we couldn't do much of anything. Luckily, we did have the beach in our backyard, so and where we live was a little bit more rural, so we were able to do a lot of walking. So walking and seeing what was around us. That's been a lot of the things that we've done in our pastime, but we definitely have a lot of things we still want to do in Portugal now that things have kind of opened back up more. The kids are in school, and for the first time in 7 years, we don't have to be 24/7 parents. So, yeah, I got a lot of ideas, a lot of running around I want to do when the kids are at school. Okay, this question: what is your cost of living as a family in Portugal? Our cost of living. So, it's recently changed because we've moved. Our cost of living, the place that we were renting before was a attached home, not detached.
It was like a townhouse.
Yeah, like a townhouse. So it was attached to like these other units. Really beautiful, gorgeous. You could check out our stories of our balcony, and we did a home tour when we first arrived. We were paying about 1,500 euros a month, which was pretty decent, especially for that place being right off of the beach. But with the kids going to school and us focused on saving and investing, we wanted to cut our expenses. So we moved to a condo, 4-bedroom, 4-bath, and that is 850 euros a month. So we cut our expenses roughly in half.
Right. And then we bought the car cash. So there's no car note or, car rental expenses. And insurance, I love insurance here because full coverage insurance here. It was like 200 and...
No, it was like 3...
No, it wasn't that much, was it?
Yeah, it was like 337 or something like that for the year.
Fine.
Full coverage.
But that was for the entire year.
Yeah.
And that's full coverage and also if something, roadside assistance, mm-hmm. if anything happens and your car's in the shop, that also comes with a loaner car as well. Mm-hmm. So insurance here is insanely affordable.
Absolutely. School is always a big topic. It varies on where you live. If you choose international school, it will always be the most expensive school. So that cost can be as much as $300 to $400 or euros a month, or as high as 800 to 900 euros a month per child. So it just varies. Groceries, we spend about. Haven't been looking at the grocery bill lately.
I would say without Uber, if you take Uber Eats out of the factor,
Right.
I would say probably about $600 a month.
Yeah.
I would say about $600 a month.
Yeah.
And I can't even tell you if that's a good thing or a bad thing anymore, because I normally do all the shopping, and I did in the States as well. But I think I used to spend almost double, not double that.
No, it's like definitely 800 to 900 a month.
I probably spend about
It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Here you can, like we cook a little bit more here, but also things are cheaper. So ingredients are cheaper, especially if you buy everything fresh.
Yeah.
You have more access to fresh produce,
organic,
and fruits and organic stuff. Yeah. So it is a lot cheaper here.
Yeah.
Your cafes are cheaper here. So.
And I have to eat gluten-free for the most part because gluten really, really messes with me. So that tends to drive up the bill just a little bit more. So there's sometimes I have to go to a specialty shop to go and get some of the things that I need. More grocery stores now are starting to offer more gluten-free items. So that's been really cool.
Yeah.
Electricity. Ooh.
That varies. I think I'd say about 150 euros.
Yeah, about 150 euros, roughly. I would say, is that what we were spending on the house.
Water would be about 20.
Yeah, 20 to 30 euros.
And then gas could be about 50 euro. Luckily, where we are right now, when the wintertime comes, we have a fireplace. And that fireplace, it heats the entire house and the water. So you can go an entire winter without using any gas.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about. So
the sustainability.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, all in all, when we've done our total bills, included with the girls' schools and just everything gas, we average about 3,000 euros per month. Sometimes a little bit over. So that's for a family of four.
That's for a family of four, right? So if it's just you or, two people, that bill can be drastically different.
Lower. Absolutely. Looking at the questions. How about medical care in Portugal? Okay.
Answer that one.
Yeah. So medical care, we have not.
Hold on, let's address Stephanie Davis.
Stephanie Davis.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Hi, Stephanie. So medical care here, from what we've seen, especially from others, because we haven't had to be hospitalized or anything like that, especially because most of the hospitals really have been overrun with COVID. Once the Delta variant got here, all of the hospitals throughout the nation were completely overrun. So we're very grateful that we did not have any major issues where we had to be hospitalized. But we can speak to the experience of our daughter. Our oldest had to get a tooth pulled when we were in Lisbon. And we were still new here, didn't have insurance at the time. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to pay it out of pocket. We'll deal with the bill later because she really needed this tooth out. Looked up the company on Google, had great reviews. We Ubered over. We were in and out in about less than an hour. And the bill was 89 euros. That was it. Tooth pulled, x-ray, they gave her a little ice pack and everything, told her what to do and for us to come back. So that just gives you an idea of how affordable it is to get something like that done and how quickly you can be in and out. So in Portugal, once you are a resident, you can get a health ID number, which allows you access to their healthcare system. And once you're within the healthcare system, you get a primary doctor. And that's the primary doctor that you go and see on a consistent basis. And because you are a resident and tax-paying citizen, or tax-paying resident, you can see that doctor for free because you're paying into the healthcare system. So that's pretty amazing.
Do you want to put the website
For
like health?
Oh, the health website.
Yes.
I'll have to look that up. Look up what that website is and put it in later in the video once it's posted here. Let's see. This question. Did we have any other questions there before we go on to this one?
I didn't see any.
Okay. So this question we have here is, it says, we're coming to Portugal for a 2-week recon mission. We'd love your best advice for how to structure our time and any special considerations. So one of the key things we would say is identify the type of lifestyle that you want. What are you going for? Are you with, city family, or, whether you're with a significant other, whatever. Are you a city person? Are you more suburb person? Are you more rural?
Or a beach person.
Or beach, right?
Yeah.
So identify that first, and then structure your time around those types of places that you would want to go and visit, since you're actually trying to figure out where you want to live. Best way to do that is going to be join some groups on Facebook groups, because you'll be able to learn really, really quickly from other people's experiences. And of course, watching some other YouTube channels will help you identify the types of areas you want to be in. Second thing is decide, do you want a more immersive experience or do you want a more transitional one? And basically immersive being more rural, because most people are only going to speak Portuguese, or transitional one, like you want a more metropolitan experience, being in Lisbon or Porto or Algarve or Cascais. Those are the areas that are where a lot of people speak English, but as well as other languages. So identify that. And then third, budget. Very, very important. What is your budget? Where do you want to be where are you on the high end versus the low end? This will help you to be very clear about where you want to be, because once you've identified all of those things, especially if you have children and you're looking for them to be in school, you want to be very clear about how far, okay, we love this area and this is great, but how far is a possible school for the kids?
Right.
And so you want to make sure that do all that recon work before you get here. So you know exactly, because if you're trying to visit Porto, Lisbon, and like Algarve, like you need some time to get between all of those three. Porto is what, like 3 hours from 3-4 hours from Lisbon?
From Lisbon, Porto is about 4 to 5.
Okay.
4 hours.
So, that those are some things you really definitely, want to consider, that time frame and how much time you want to spend in those areas. And definitely suggest getting Airbnbs, because they allow you to kind of get an idea and feel of what the places look like.
Yeah.
In the places that you're considering living in.
Right. So I guess if you have a higher budget, the country is kind of at your beck and call, right? So you can choose pretty much anywhere you want to live, and have a nice school for your kids, if you have kids. I don't know if this person has kids, but yeah. And if not, then that there will be compromises. So you want cheaper living, but you're gonna have to deal with going further out from Lisbon or from the popular areas, which means you're gonna have to deal with some language barriers there, or
and transportation
and driving. I was actually getting to that. So, and the good thing is the major cities all have really good public transportation.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, but if that's your thing, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, those were all the key questions that we had. And we were able to answer some here. So we wanted to make this like a super quick live and see what it was like.
Yeah, we shortened this down. We had a lot of great questions. Some of them were the same.
Yeah.
So we just kind of boiled it down to 6 a little bit. And so if there's any other questions that you can type up really quick, feel free to ask them right now before we close this out.
Or if you can't think of them right now, once the video posts, go ahead and post the questions there.
Or you can do that.
And we'll answer them either via YouTube or via like a quick short video that we'll post on IG here. So if there's nothing else, it's Friday night here. I got a bottle of wine to open. And I don't have to wake up early tomorrow.
Yeah.
So thank you guys so much for joining. We really appreciate you guys for following our journey. Strategies for world schooling. That's a little different here. So
Yeah.
it's a little different here.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason why we are our kids are no longer being homeschooled right now, because they have a bit of a restriction on homeschooling here. Mm-hmm. So
some people do it.
Yeah.
There are legal ways for you to do it, but
we don't want to.
Yeah, that is a journey you definitely need to like really go down the rabbit hole for.
I want to be careful with that.
I want to be very careful with that. But the reality is, homeschooling / world schooling is more difficult here because there are not activities set up outside of the school system. All of the things like swimming and basketball and tennis and guitar and blah, 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 all of those things are set up within an actual school system.
Right.
So unlike the States where I could just go, hey, we're going to go to gymnastics class, or we're going to go do this, we're going to go join a team. Those things don't exist outside of the school. So, and that was important for our children to be able to continue to have that sense of community.
Right.
Moving forward, academics are just one part of that world schooling, homeschooling journey. There is a socialization factor. And when we were traveling, we didn't have a problem socializing. Right. They played with everyone. They talked to everyone. It was great. But, the pandemic changed a lot for us. And so that we are... with us being here in Portugal.
And we're in Portugal.
Yeah, we're in Portugal. With us being here in Portugal, we wanted to make sure that they had the opportunities to continue to live the life they really wanted to live. That's got to be one of the girls.
Yeah.
One of the girls' tablets.
Kids have phones now. Okay.
So.
Wait, where are y'all at?
But thank you guys again so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And again, if you have any questions, post this. Feel free to post on the video, and we'll try to respond via YouTube or our channel. And be sure to follow us on YouTube as well for videos that we post weekly. So thanks again. Have a great day.
Bye. I don't know how you end it, so you gotta do it.